Hello everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart84. I'm doing a short walk today across the Thames a few times, going to cross a few bridges and hopefully find a couple of interesting plants to video. So I thought I'd start at St Paul's Cathedral. Obviously I'll do a couple of, there's some bells in the background. Obviously I'll do a couple of interesting buildings as well, or anything interesting historical. I'm hoping to find, there should be in the grounds of St Paul's a trifoliate orange, so I'll video that first. So I'll just pause the video and go and have a look and see if I can find it. So here it is. You probably won't be able to hear me over the bells because they're really loud at the moment. I don't know if there are any more here, but this one's tucked away in a little corner. You can probably see it's got massive thorns on it. Definitely a Ponceres trifoliate. I don't think it's the twisted stems one, but it has been a very large size. You can probably see the trunk underneath was huge, but it's now been cut back heavily, probably got a bit out of control. I don't think it was dieback, probably too vicious to have in the garden. Anyway, I thought that might interest a few citrus collectors amongst us. Hopefully you can hear me over the bells, and I'm just going to have a wander around just see if by any chance there are any others in the garden. While I was here in St Paul's, just sort of stop and look at this fabulous display on this red berry. Not too sure what it is. Shouldn't be walking on the grass here. I'm going a little bit closer. Look at that. Obviously not very edible as far as the bird's concerned, otherwise they would have stripped the bush by now. So I'm going to guess it's not edible. Oh, would you believe right next to it there is a huge Ponceres trifoliate. I didn't spot it at first because they're semi-deciduous. It's only when I looked up and saw the thorns that I realised that's what it was. You can see the thorns there, but more interestingly it looks like it's got loads of flower buds appearing, so I would imagine in the next month or so it's going to have loads of flowers on it. You can probably see there, covered in flower buds, so it's going to have a lot of flowers on it, and then that will break out into leaf. Does look as if it's suffering from dieback on the older branches, but I think that's due to age, not to do with cold damage. But it's a good sort of 12 feet tall, so a good sort of 4 metres, probably a bit more than that, 18 feet maybe. So there are Ponceres growing in London. This one's in the grounds of St Paul's Cathedral if anybody wants to see it. I'll carry on with the video. And while I'm here, I thought we'd also spot this flowers open on this strawberry tree. It's putting on some new growth here, substantial new growth, but the tree itself is again obviously quite old, quite large. You can see the lovely distinctive bark they have on these arbutus plants. This is Arbutus unado, I would imagine. There is another very similar variant, which I think that's something like, begins with an A, Andreoides, something like that, which I think is a very similar looking plant, but perhaps has even more reddish bark than this, so this could be that variant. But for the moment we'll just call it a standard strawberry tree, and it has set fruits on it. It'll take about a year to get to maturity, but also it's still flowering. I guess that's because we're in London, it's very mild. It's got a lovely form to this tree. It's kind of like a giant bonsai. So there's plenty of interesting things to see in St Paul's Cathedral if you're in London and you're into botany. There's a couple of other unusual plants here as well. On with the walk. And for anyone who's doing any tourism in London who's interested, once you've left the grounds of St Paul's, literally just cross the road, and then it's just a couple hundred metres walk down to the River Thames, across the footbridge to the Tate Modern Gallery if you're into culture. and obviously en route you can always see, there's always a good chance of seeing some nice statues and sculptures, and of course some nice London historical buildings. But as you can see, obviously up ahead, the bridge is just down there. We're going to cross that to where the Tate Modern is, and then head off towards London Bridge and Borough Market that I'm planning to visit today. And hopefully there will be a couple of citrus in the grounds of the church near Borough Market, in which case I'll video those as well if I can. So I'm just walking across the bridge now. Sometimes I feel like a tourist when I'm doing these videos. And this is known as the Millennium Bridge. Built, I presume, for the Millennium. Can't remember the exact date of construction now. As you can see, there's the Thames there with some of the taller buildings around, and over to the left is the Shard, currently the tallest building in London in the distance. Tower Bridge, and the Shard is approximately where Borough Market is, so I will be heading towards the Shard along the riverbank in a minute. You can see the construction of the bridge here, with shock absorbers on it to absorb the shock. If a lot of people are walking on it at the same time, it can cause vibrations, so they had to put these in to absorb the tension. That's the Tate Modern over there, we won't be visiting that. It's not too busy today, the bridge. It's about 11 o'clock. It's not too bad this time of the morning. If we're over to the left, which you'll see when we get a bit closer in a minute. I'm only doing this for people who haven't been to London or aren't regular London people. That's the Shakespeare Globe over there. You can probably see it was obviously reconstructed to replicate the original Shakespeare Theatre. And if I remember rightly, the Tate Modern was a power station of some sort originally, before it was converted into a gallery, hence that large chimney there. Looks like they're carrying out some maintenance work on it at the moment. Anyway, I'll stop the video now and carry on while there's something else interesting to see. Actually, just very quickly, I'll turn around and have a look. That's the city there. Various buildings include, which are called, among other things, the Cheese Grater, the Walkie-Talkie, which I think is the one on the right hand side, and obviously straight down there, as I said, you can see Tower Bridge, and to the left of that, not quite in view, is the Tower of London. There's a Shard over on the south bank, and the other way heading up towards Westminster. Okay, back to walking. Here's a closer look at the globe for anyone interested. They have outdoor theatre shows there when the weathers are suitable. I think they probably run them in winter as well. You've got to dress up warm because you have to stand up. It's a standing gallery just like the old days, and it's completely open to the elements in the middle, so not something you want to be doing in the pouring rain. Obviously should be a good replica of the original one. Lots of old buildings and pubs along the front here for people who are interested in that kind of thing, including me. There's lots of interesting things to see if you're walking along this area. Lots of interesting restaurants, touristy sites. Got the Clink Prison Museum, I have visited there. Not on remand, I might add, but just as a tourist. Goes back to sort of medieval times and right into the 1100s to the 1700s, and then you've got these wonderful narrow streets along here at the back, taking us up towards Borough Market. As I said, plenty of places to eat along here. You'll see in a minute they've managed to preserve some interesting ruins here. just going to take a picture of the ruins, quick video, and then we'll walk to Borough Market, which is over to the right. These of course were all warehouses in the past before they were converted to apartments along the side of the river. And here we've got some nice old ruins here, which they've made use of. Some bits sheltered and put some interesting garden plants in. This apparently was Winchester Palace. This would have been the Great Hall. You can see the remains of that window there. Be the perfect place to plant citrus actually, but unfortunately I haven't planted any. I've just gone with regular stuff, but it'll be very sheltered down here. Anyway, that's for the cultural people amongst us. Let's carry on to Borough Market. So here we are now on the boundary of Borough Market. Must visit place if you're in London at a time when it's open. Plenty of lovely restaurants around here if you like seafood. There's Wright Brothers there. There's Bowser's, Rambutan, plenty of interesting food eateries, but more importantly, if you want to come to Borough Market, there are loads of unusual fruit stalls, handmade cheese stalls, local foods, world famous sausage rolls. You can see the sort of queues some of these food places have. Seafood stalls if you want oysters, there's drink stalls, Mexican foods, paellas, oriental foods. But first and foremost, it's worth coming here for the interesting food stalls, flower stalls. They're not all open all of the time. Sometimes you come along here and they aren't open on certain days. Mulled wine, Borough wines. And I might, if I'm lucky, manage to find some nice unusual exotic fruits today. As you can see, it's pretty much buzzing here near 11:30 on a Sunday morning. Lots of people, tourists come here as well as locals. And of course, if you want to queue up and have fresh oysters, you can do. Stop filming for now. I'm going to go and have a look at the fruit and vegetables. As you can probably see, there's a good range of exotics here. They've got high quality mangoes, got tamarillos, large red passion fruit, might get one of those. Got mangosteens here today. They've got feijoas. Might buy one of those, see what they taste like this time of year. Yellow dragon fruits. As I said, you've got tamarillos, there's guavas here. Purple passion fruit, there's the large yellow ones over there. We've got kiwano fruits, papaya, the large pink dragon fruits, so a good selection. So as likely as not, I'll come and get a couple in a minute to take home and do tastings on the video. And there's some other exotic fruit stalls here as well. In fact, we walk over here. Very wide range of interesting. There's no shortage of fresh fruits here. If you want heirloom tomatoes, they've got the heirloom tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, Camone, all sorts of very unusual varieties. Courgette flowers or zucchini flowers to my American friends. Various peppers, and it's not cheap. But if you want exotic salads and fruits, you can get them here at Borough Market if it interests you. And every choice, every type of mushroom under the sun. Oysters, girolles, pied bleu, blue feet, chanterelles, every range. So we'll come back, pull my bag with me today so that I can actually carry some fruit back. I don't know what variety of mango they are, it doesn't actually say, but they do look very nice. I think we'll get one a little bit later, and probably a couple of other unusual fruits. Apologies if it makes your mouth water walking around here if you happen to like things like cheeses, giant croissants, Lovely baked loaves. I'll be taking some of these home today. Really have got cheeses galore here. Flatted loaves, any type of bread that you could possibly imagine. Rainbow coloured bagels. Incredible what people produce. The work that goes into producing some of these cheeses must be unbelievable. Look at that. Put those wheels on a car, they're so big. Definitely going to be buying a few bits and pieces to take home. And I'm going to have myself a couple of oysters today as well. Spice Mountain, if you want to buy every spice under the sun. Taste Croatia if you want Croatian food. You really can get everything in London if you know where to look and it interests you to try all these things. But obviously the big thing they have here is cheeses. It's well known for it. Different oils, jams, condiments to eat with your food. But I love these giant cheeses. Goodness knows what one of these large rolls would cost. Those large wheels of cheese. Fabulous. I'm not meant to be eating cheese at the moment, but I definitely will be. And there's another fresh food market. What I keep hoping to find when I come here is star apples, and they've never ever got star apples here. Look, they've even got a durian. £88 if you want a fresh durian here. Almost anything available. Rambutan, they've got sapodillas. Oh, they've actually got rose apples, so I'm going to buy some rose apples. I love this stall because they just have a fabulous range of custard apples. Star fruits, guavas, fabulous change, mini aubergines, cacao pods, but no sign, sadly, sweet tamarinds by the kilo. But as I said, unfortunately, no sign of any star apples. And around here, let's walk around the front. We've even got a giant, jackfruit. Feijoas, jackfruit, giant tamarillos, there's pepinos there, sweet tamarind, which I've never eaten, so I'm definitely going to get some of those.
It's very difficult. Very difficult stuff.
Carrying on with the video for people interested, we've got rambutan, Thai yellow mango, there's granadillas here, more kiwanos, chiku sapodillas, so I'm going to get a couple of those, plenty of fresh pineapple guavas or feijoas, large, huge tamarillos. They've even got Buddha's hands, which I've never had, pepinos, which I normally find disappointing, snake fruits, which are very rare to find here. They've got the purple flesh dragon fruit and the white flesh and the yellow ones with the white flesh, so they really have got a very tempting range here today. Definitely going to buy some wax apples. Those are huge ones. Take those home and do a video tasting in the next day or two. Let's see what we splash out on. I'll come back to you later on the video in the walk. Okay, so I know these won't appeal to everybody. A lot of people probably can't stand them, and if you're a vegetarian, it's not going to appeal either. But I've got some Colston native oysters here, and also some cherry stone clams, which are very popular in America. So I just thought I'd stop and do a picture. I'll put a spicy chili vinegar on it. I'm not going to put Tabasco on mine today, although they give you that as a possibility. I should put my bag down. These most definitely not on camera, and I've treated myself to a glass of Prosecco as well. It's not exactly my healthy kick for the day, but it'll do. I thought that might interest a few people. Temptation, which I can't resist, which has messed up my healthy diet I'm on at the moment.
Have a good day.
Decided to buy myself some fudge. Here. I quite remember what when I get home we'll see.
£9.80.
So I managed to buy 2 bits and pieces. Shame I can't let you taste it with me, but never mind. Cafe latte, peanut butter, stem ginger, every flavour of fudge under the sun. Even salted licorice, which I didn't get. Might do a fudge tasting as well later. One thing you can be sure of when you're walking around London is there's always a glorious splash of colour and something interesting to see. Look at these fabulous camellia flowering so heavily in March, and of even more interest up here to the exotic fruit followers and what occasionally pops up in London. As we get closer, I'm sure you're going to realise what we've got, or I'm pretty sure what we've got. It's one of those London avocado trees growing in someone's garden. Look at that, huge glossy leaves, not the slightest sign of any cold damage from it this winter. It's definitely an avocado. No sign of any fruit on it or flowers. It may well be it's one that's never flowered and never fruited, but nevertheless, amazingly healthy looking tree. Once again, it's in that perfect microclimate, sheltered against the side of a very tall building where it probably doesn't get any cold at all, and it's up past 2 stories now, so it's a good 20 feet tall, so a good 6.5 metres now. Fabulous. And just around the corner from the other avocado that I've just featured is the most famous London avocado of all. Doesn't seem to have had any cold damage whatsoever. I can see new buds appearing on it now. No obvious fruit at the moment. I'm sure it has got fruit up there. Yeah, I think it has right up the top, but I can't really, yeah, I can see fruit above me actually, but I probably can't zoom in on it. Let's see if I can. Kind of looks, oh, there's some closer there, wait a minute. I'm zooming up the top and there's some low down here. Never have figured out what fruit it is. We think it's probably something like a fuerte or bacon. It doesn't look like avocado, the skin's too smooth. In fact, there's some even lower ones here. Not easy to see with the light behind, unfortunately. But still a fabulous looking tree, even though the lobe got cut off. Has got very large, glossy leaves on it. So I'm guessing it's probably a Mexican base. You can see it had a large stem, got broken off or had to be cut off last year. But it's still doing extremely well. Takes over the whole of the person's garden. You can zoom out a bit now so you can get a better idea of the size. Cut it by mistake. Yeah, so it got snapped off there, about half the tree, but the rest of it looks fine. Zero damage on it. It has got avocados on it, some of which are deformed, but quite a large quantity that have obviously been hanging all winter and haven't caused any problems. It's wonderful to see it. It looks to me like it's starting to form new flower. I can see new flower buds on it as well. So it's soon going to be growing again. Unfortunately, it's in the middle of someone's garden, so it's not as if you can help yourself to cuttings or anything, although you could knock on the door, but I gather it's a very elderly person that lives here, which is why I won't give the address to anybody, because I don't want to be disturbed by Herberts coming around and asking for cuttings of the tree. But just because it survives in central London, where it's incredibly sheltered here, doesn't mean that it would survive in other parts of the UK. You can probably see the avocados hanging there below the branch. It's right over into the next door's garden, so the whole of next door gets the benefit of an avocado tree in their garden as well, if you consider it a benefit. But there's lots of new growth coming on it, so as I said, lots of what look like flower buds forming, so an exciting sight gives people hope that they might be able to grow avocados in the UK, but of course the truth of it is you need to be right in the centre of London with a perfect protected microclimate on all corners by large walls to have any chance of one surviving, no matter what the genetic background for this one is. But probably a Mexican genetics to it, but I'm not sure. Anyway, let's carry on with the walk. Now, as a rule of thumb, I normally tend to walk along the south bank because it's more user friendly, but I decided to walk along part of the north bank today, and unbelievably I've stumbled across a pineapple guava, feijoa. Now, it's even got, bear in mind we're in the second week of March, it's even got a flower bud on it. Now this is coming out into growth probably about 2 months ahead of when mine will start the growth, which is an indication once again of this warm central London microclimate. We've already seen the avocados, and now you can see the pineapple guavas starting off in spring growth, and no doubt this will be flowering heavily. This is actually by Blackfriars Bridge. I've never seen this plant before, but it's obviously been here for a long time. You can see it's got a nice thick stem, and I'm hoping to see some loquats as well in a minute, see if they've got any fruit on them. So I'll come back to you in the next part of the video. So as promised, here we are on the north bank now, and as I promised, there's some loquats, decent sized plants here. Good fruit set and hold on it through the winter months. Lots of new growth on it, which is earlier than the ones that are outside London. But the fruits have definitely survived the worst of the cold weather. Now we're in March, and there's no reason why these shouldn't reach full maturity, which would probably be about June or July in our climate. Because obviously they don't really start developing properly from this size until about April or May when the weather gets warmer. I think there's probably some more in this garden. I'll have a walk through and see. Lady Agnes. So you can see some large mimosa trees here in full flower. Another somewhat more sickly loquat. I think this one suffered from drying out last summer when we had the droughts. They haven't got any irrigation here, but it looks like it's going to be okay. Various standard popular London shrubs, fanciers. There's loads of agipanthus here. Haven't been affected by the cold like mine, all died back and turned to slush. Whole, most of the plants here are in good condition. Giant evergreen magnolia. I think it's Magnolia grandiflora, that one. No citrus around here, unfortunately. Not dissimilar leaves to avocado, the Magnolia grandiflora. Lilies for anyone interested. I think that's all the loquats in this garden. Robert Rakes, founder of Sunday schools. Sunday schools, he's probably universally hated then. Right, on with the walk. Okay, so here's some more loquats in the same garden. Again, very healthy looking plants. Has set a good number of fruit, which shows you can grow them here, provided you give them a sheltered enough environment. And the beauty of this one is that there are at least 2 or 3 plants side by side. There's another one there, which means you've got good cross-pollination on them, especially if they're from different genetic sources. As you can see, there's lots of new growth coming as well, which is an indication of the indication of how mild these gardens are. Certainly no frost damage on most of the fruits, not like my parents' flowers. But then again, my parents' plant doesn't have a pollinating partner, so that would make a big difference. Anyway, we'll probably come back in about June and July and see how these are developing and if they're edible, if they haven't been eaten by somebody already. And those are some of the London loquats or loquats for people who are interested. On with the walk. So I'm still walking. I'm not planning to walk as far today as I have been doing on Sundays, mainly because I'm carrying this heavy bag laden with goodies from Borough Market. But just to show you, you can always find green spaces in central London, not far from Covent Garden. This is called Lincoln Inn Fields. I don't think there'll be anything interesting plants in here, but nevertheless it's nice to have a green space for local people to walk. And as you can see, they've got tennis courts here, which is pretty impressive. Whether or not you have to be a member of a club or you can just rent the courts, I don't know. I don't think there'll be any particularly unusual plants here, just the normal evergreens, camellias, mock oranges. Still nice to have a green space here. In fact, I'm planning to walk today to the Barbican and have a look at if it's open. They've got a greenhouse there, which might be interesting to see. To sort of finish off my walk. As I said, I'm not walking very fast or far because this bag's too heavy and I keep having to swap it from arm to rest my arms because it's absolutely laden with tropical fruits, which I will feature in some other videos. But I just thought I'd walk through here, as I've never actually walked through this little sort of, it's a giant square really rather than a park. Some fabulous old trees there. They look like, well, they are, they're plane trees, P-L-A-N-E. It's nice to have a bit of green for people to walk with their dogs and children. And we'll get to the other side, and there's a very interesting looking building up there. I don't know what it is, but I'll find out when I get to the end. Hopefully there's an exit. This ends, and I've got to walk all the way round to the other end to get out, but we'll see. It's a nice day today. It's about 12 to 13 centigrade, about 55 Fahrenheit, so much milder than it's been for the last few days. Makes it very manageable. Lots of conifers in here. Oh yes, there is a gate on this corner, so we're going to go over and see what this amazing looking building is, which incredibly I don't think I've ever seen in my life. Just goes to show around every bend in London, if there are roads you don't go down, there are these places you don't see. Lincoln's Inn, closed to the public. So this building, which I've never heard of, is called Lincoln's Inn. Amazing. Never even heard of it. I'll have to have a look up online and see what it is. And that's obviously why the green here is called Lincoln's Inn Fields. Look at that. Fantastic buildings in there. Amazing. Never heard of the place. Right, I'll stop the video here, carry on walking. Really, it's just one amazing building after another when you walk around London. You never know what's going to be round the corner. You don't even know what most of these buildings are. Absolutely incredible. And when you come along here, and then you find a little pub tucked away round the corner, the 7 Stars. Never seen it in my life. Really incredible when you come along these sort of roads. See these, the amount of, look like churches, a lot of them, they probably aren't. We've got original British telephone boxes here. the silver mousetrap, whatever he happens to do there. I'm guessing he makes silver. Carey Street we're in. And some old-fashioned booksellers and publishers there. Never seen any of these buildings before. One thing about walking around London is a voyage of discovery, because you get to see buildings and places you never see when you're driving through. Because when you're driving through, you obviously you tend to take the direct route rather than walking down all these side streets. We're actually coming up to Chancery Lane, which I have probably driven down once, and I believe this is a library at the end here. I believe this building. I can see loads of books inside. Upstairs, I think it's called the Morgan Library. Another amazing building, which no doubt the public can go into, I would think. Fabulous. On with the walk. So for the carnivores amongst my viewers, I'm now walking past the famous Smithfield London meat market, where the meat market's traditionally been for years. Directly opposite is the famous Smithfield restaurant. I don't know if it's closed on Sundays or permanently closed. Perhaps it doesn't open Sundays, but it's certainly shut at the moment. It's got menus outside still, so I see them on that basis. They are open, but probably only, I presume, only during the week. It's a lovely old building here. Smithfield is the meat market. Billingsgate is the fish market, and Spitalfields is the fruit and vegetable market. I presume this is still operational as a meat market, and I presume probably it only opens Mondays to Fridays, perhaps Saturdays, I'm not sure. But quite a nice old traditional building for anyone interested. Again, worth a probably visit when it's open. I'll video a little bit more. It's fascinating to see the beautiful wrought-iron work and how well maintained it is along here. Pause that and read it if you want to. Fabulous building. Anyway, on with my walk. So we're now approaching the Barbican. These not particularly attractive towers, which are part of the Barbican development, which was a huge development, I presume in the 50s and 60s. Don't exactly look appealing, and yet now this is ultra desirable and trendy to live here, and the apartments make ludicrous money. They do have a nice garden area on the other side, which I should be able to show in a minute when we go inside. As you can probably see, although the development itself is not the prettiest thing you've ever seen, they've actually got very nice central gardens for people who live here. It's extremely sheltered down there, so again it would be the ideal microclimate for planting some slightly more unusual plants. There's a mimosa over there, but unfortunately I don't think there's any avocados or anything like that planted here. As you walk further along here, you'll see there's a nice water area, which we'll get to down the end. So as well as these gardens, biggest challenge is for me to remember where the greenhouse area is. I have to look on the signs and maps and see if I can pick it out, but it's quite, as I said, quite a nice large water area here. It's very popular when we get to the end. Very popular with the local bird life, and also, as you can see, quite a popular social area. Plenty of people hanging out down there. Cafes and places to stop and eat. And I'm going to see if I can find a map to check out where the greenhouse is. Not sure if it's open today. Here we are at the conservatory at the Barbican. I'm going to go and have a look and see. Oh, there's people in there, so it's open. Looks interesting inside. It feels incredibly hot outside here as well. So let's see how much it costs to get in. So this is open from 12 till 5, so we're going to have a look and have a look around inside. It says the conservatory and garden room are currently closed. Or perhaps because they're doing a musical recital in there. So we won't be going in today. There should be some interesting plants in there. Actually looks like an avocado there, but it might not be. Still, we'll see when they reopen. Perhaps they're only closed temporarily. Sadly, we can't go in the conservatory today, which is a great shame. But I recall here now that there is a particularly healthy loquat or loquats tree here, covered in fruit. This is down in a courtyard in the Barbican, so it's incredibly protected by these tall buildings round here. So it's already a perfect microclimate, and then furthermore it's down in the courtyard. There's a phoenix date palm there as well. There is tropical agaves, but that's covered in fruit, so it's a perfect place for it. I think that's the last loquat of the day for anyone interested. Still windy here though for all that, and I thought, let me see the outside of this. Well, I want to come here and see inside one day. They say, I believe this is the second largest conservatory in London, I presume after the one at Kew Gardens. It's got some quite substantial trees in it and palms. It'll certainly be interesting to have a look and see if there's anything particularly exotic. You can see the height of it. Just unfortunate it's closed today for some recital. And again, walking around here, it extends quite a long way around here as well. Can't say everything's healthy. That plant looks decidedly unhealthy and dead looking through the glass. You probably can't see it because of the reflections. So not everything is well maintained there. We'll see how extensive it is in there. Definitely going to come back here and have a visit and see what's growing in there. Well worth a look. Anyway, that's the outside of the conservatory at the Barbican Centre. Now see if I can find my way out of this maze to a station. Well, thank you if you joined me on any of my walk today. I hope there are a couple of interesting plants and trees and things to see. I've only done about 7 miles because I'm carrying a fairly hefty weight of fresh tropical fruits that I bought in the market that I'll feature in another video, because there'll be people interested in only that. You can see the lovely cherry blossom here. I'm virtually home now. Not feeling too tired, apart from my arms aching by carrying the bag of food, which I keep swapping from one hand to the other. So I'll see you in the next video, which will be hopefully a fresh fruit haul video. Thanks for watching and joining me today, I much appreciate it, and I'll see you all soon.